Well, good morning, Canes fam. This is Spike Drab coming back at you with Gridiron Grandmasters. Hope you're all having a great Saturday leading up to today's game against Pitt. This show, as always, is brought to you by the Iron Ostrich Network. And because I had two games to go over today because I was moving last week, I don't have the usual shout out for 365 Canes Info, though I know they have great analysis of all the plays that happen in both of these games. So definitely check them out on Twitter as well, because I'm just going to be going over the play calling as always and seeing how well we did with that. I want to say that it's a tale of two games, but honestly, the play calling was fairly similar in both games, despite the results being pretty different. I do want to have obviously a shout out to the ability of Tyler Van Dyke to bounce back from one game and just go from throwing 3 picks in one game to 4 touchdowns and no interceptions in the next game. So now last week, I wasn't able to actually do the stream or the analysis of the UNC game, but I did call that we would beat NC State the week after, and I'm going to be able to show you why right now. It's all about the play calling. So helps that against UNC, our defense gave up a touchdown, whereas against NC State, they did not. But we try a flea flicker to start the game. Not a bad play call, poor execution. Now, again, Van Dyke, he has to set his feet. He's a pocket passer doing the flea flicker. He wasn't really quite ready to throw the ball and ended up behind Keyshawn Smith. Not a bad play call, but not really the best trick play to get Van Dyke in the best position, feel comfortable with what he's doing. So then we do I hate this formation so much. I hate the extended pistol formation. I hate the fact that we've got everyone cramped to the right side of the field. I just despise this formation on all facets. And so, yeah, Cam Harris gets 1 yard out of it. He's lucky to get that because the formation kind of screwed him from the beginning. And then we have a drop pass. So that's how we start off our game against NC State. We then get a pick 6 and we give up another touchdown. So it's all sorts of fucked up. Our second drive against NC State, again, look at all of the players on the left side of the formation. We have to have 2 receivers on the line, so one of them's covered and cannot go downfield because Lashlee wants to really do an imbalanced or unbalanced attack with the I formation in the background. Again, why would the defense be worried about anything going to the right side of the field? They wouldn't. They're just gonna cramp the entire area, and Cameron Harris is not going to go anywhere. I don't care who's back there. That's just a terrible setup. So then Carolina says, that's all right. We're going to help you out. 15 yards after he gets a good run off of a normal setup. This is a typical shotgun formation, run out of shotgun formation, and we add on the 15 yards penalty at the end. And so then we get Keyshawn 13 yards. We do the screen off the play action. Quality stuff. I have no issue with the design of this play. I believe that they brought Keyshawn in motion from outside to inside to make sure that the formation on the defensive side was a little out of sync, create a little bit of a gap for him, and he takes it for 13 yards. Beautiful. We don't see that play until the next quarter. Instead, we get into the I form on 1st and 10 and run a 1 yard off. Well, basically it's a pitch, and Cam Harris is fast, but he's straight line speed, and he loves to jitterbug around. And I know that he's injured now, and I feel bad for him, but he's a third down back going in the NFL. He will be a great third down back if somebody gives him a chance. This is not the right formation for him, not in any way, shape, or form. Not bad for other people, Cody Brown perhaps, but I'm glad we went under center. So anyway, for the 5th one, incomplete, but they had offsides and also holding. This was just kind of as they say, the Connecticut drill, perfect for TVD coming from Connecticut. So UNC gives us 10 more yards, and then incomplete, roughing the passer, which again, this formation, terrible. The play action, just it doesn't do anything. Everyone knows that the play isn't going anywhere to the right. Everyone knows that it has to go to the left or not at all. And so he's just a sitting duck back there. There is no reason for anybody on the right side of the formation on defense to be worried about anything coming behind them or anything like that because it's so cramped. Also, again, the receiver, I believe it was Restrepo, had to basically stand there after the play was snapped because he can't go downfield. But they gave him roughing the passer. Wonderful. And then we run the ball. We were gifted 40 yards of offense on this play, 40 yards just for free. And we end up with a 1 yard loss. Again, what is this formation? We're trying to overstack. We're trying to keep Arroyo in there to block and this and that. That's great. None of this eye candy helps, in my opinion. And obviously the results show that. But in general, we shouldn't see these formations. They don't make our offense more potent. If anything, they just cramp the ability of our receivers and our athletic players to go downfield and make plays. So then we bring in Knighton. Now, this play off the left side, totally fine if it was 1st and 10 and we're using the open side of the field. We didn't do that. We ran it on 2nd and 11 from the 19. And finally, he gets sacked for 9 yards because we just decided not to block. And so we settle for a field goal. So we get the ball back one more time in the first quarter, complete on the screen again. There you go. We did run it again, but this time from a much more cramped formation. They're waiting for it. Again, there's no real spread here. There's no motion. He gets a 1 yard loss. So then he completes it to Harley. And this play, again, why did we not run this on first down? I don't know. This out route with Harley is incredibly impressive because the two of them are pinpoint accurate, both in the route running and in the pass delivery. Whether it's 4 yards, whether it's 14 yards for a touchdown, we should be running this a whole bunch today as well. And then Keyshawn Smith, he basically throws it up because we go overload to the right to try and get him in ISO. And, okay, it has its merits. Again, on 3rd and 7, probably not the right time to run it. I felt like throughout this game against North Carolina, Lashlee was one play behind. He'd call the right play, but on the down after he should have called it. Instead of calling that play on first down, he calls it on 2nd and long. Instead of calling the ISO play here on 2nd down, really 2nd and long, he calls it on 3rd and long. So it's a 50-50 ball. Basically, the other North Carolina with the pick six and Sam Howell being Sam Howell, he basically gave us an extra set. He gave us 7 points to start the game. They gave us an extra 40 yards to start the freaking first quarter in the second drive. We got 10 points for free from North Carolina. And so I talk about the Noah's Ark Trap because it's a very common trap in a very common opening. And it basically trades the bishop down for 2 pawns, which provides an early advantage, but does not guarantee victory. What does that mean? Well, what it means is here, black, it doesn't really matter, ends up threatening the queen. The queen has to move anywhere. It doesn't matter where the queen moves. And when the queen has to move, it allows this same pawn to keep going down the line and to trap this bishop. The bishop can't go anywhere. What ends up happening is that the bishop will end up having to take out 2 pawns while also being captured itself. So at the end of the day, this sort of setup is great. It gives the one side an early advantage. North Carolina gave an early advantage. I mean, look at these. Personal foul, holding, roughing the pass. That's 40 yards right there in a matter of 5 plays. And what do we do to follow up with it? We run the ball twice for 1 yard. And again, out of really atrocious, well, at least one of them atrocious formations. And so we're just because you get an advantage doesn't mean that you're in any position to win the game. It's just an advantage. It doesn't mean anything, even if you come out of the opening with bonuses for no reason. And that was kind of the story throughout the whole game. After we get 10 points gifted to us, what do we do on offense? Incomplete to Harley. Now, this one was fake right, fake left. He ends up just dropping back and throwing it deep. Okay, fine. It was, I believe the pass was short. But overall, not a bad play design. But clearly Van Dyke isn't comfortable yet because what passes have you given him other than a couple screenplays to give him his chops throwing downfield? Nothing. You gave him a play action pass, and you have a drop pass for one of his receivers. So the confidence is at an all-time low. And then here we go. He gets a pass tipped incomplete. That'll be a theme for sure. And then what he's basically doing to try and make himself comfortable, he goes spread and he runs for first down, 11 yards. The only positive play that we've had besides that screen off the motion so far for any considerable amount is him doing it himself. So this is, in my opinion, not on TBD. He was not in a great place. Pass was intercepted. Um, the play call here, you are on the short side of the field or to the boundary, and you run all these guys into this area and make them stop. It doesn't make any sense. You need to have a clear out. You need to have a clear out route. You need to have create space where there is none. Um, Now, should he have passed this? Probably not. But still, you're not putting him in. He wants to sling it, and we'll get there. NC State, he slings the ball. Why? Because that's what he's good at. And it took Lashley 4 games to figure out what makes him comfortable. I don't know, man. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, so get the ball back in the second half. We're now down 28-10, by the way. So they're just destroying us. We get pass interference again. They go 4 left, isolate Rambo. This time we get the call versus before when Grimes actually played good defense and didn't get the call. It's a 50-50 ball. I like this play call on 1st and 10. I hate it on 3rd and 7. All about down and distance. All right. Run the ball off the I mean, we're running zone with Knighton. It's a little more dynamic because he really can find and hit the holes because he's more decisive when he picks a hole to run through. And he doesn't stop his feet when he gets there. This one, Knighton could have broken it. He just got tripped up. But he did have a hole because he was patient, but also has the acceleration to get to the hole once he decides. So it's not a bad look. It's more of a bad look that it took this long, that it basically took so long for us to get him in there. And I know that Cam is still playing at this point, but it's just a bad look all around for the coaches, in my opinion, of putting guys in bad positions. Now, Restrepo, beautiful pass, hits him deep. Again, that's the first deep pass he's had the whole game. It took till more than halfway through the second quarter. So then he tries to throw it again. Again, right play call, trying to hit Restrepo even deeper this time. Just didn't come down with it. Good defense. I mean, again, we're playing in Chapel Hill, so we're not going to get that call 99% of the time. That's fine. So then we have this shit formation, but it's this at least is more of a balanced formation. It's not that, imbalance, right side, left side nonsense. And it's really only good for one thing. And you guessed it, it's to run the ball. There is nothing else you can do out of this formation that is helpful, even with someone like Knighton in the backfield. Now the thing is that Knighton, I draw this very specifically. He gets up to the line of scrimmage on basically the dive play and realizes that he can't go anywhere, and he bounces it outside and runs around the entire North Carolina defense because he's that talented. He's that athletic. This has really nothing to do with the play design. Again, a shit formation, and I stand by that. Now, we'll say a more typical formation for us, 23 yards. Hey, look at that. You've got Mallory in the backfield trying to block. You've got, I think it was Rooster at this point on the right side as well. And that, I mean, it's a bit of a scrunch formation, but again, balanced. Everyone's eligible. Everyone can do their thing. There's a lot of options out of this formation. And Keyshawn basically breaks one and gets deep for 23 yards, but he gets the pass first because he's still isolated. He's just not isolated like dramatically so. So there's still the option of Mallory leaking out of the backfield or Knighton going that way, whatever. It makes the defense play a little more honestly. And the defender, for what it's worth, kind of got caught being of two minds, couldn't decide whether he was going to try and knock the ball down or make the tackle. Boom, 23 yards. And then we tack it on top, pass interference from the 5 yard to the 2 yard line. And again, you're still isolating Rambo on one side of the field, but you're not doing it in these weird formations that, like I said, they don't really do anything. A lot of these formations are quantity, not quality. So, but we get the pass interference call. We go into goal line. Thank God and Almighty. This was a great play call. He rolls out and out of order, but it's fine. Mallory leaks out to the back and is wide open. Because he doesn't really have the ups. Van Dyke tries to laser it through, and the defender gets his hands up, even though he's not even looking at the quarterback. Really just a lucky break for North Carolina. They don't get lucky in the next one. We run the same formation. Love it. And the goal line situation. Love it. And Jalen Knighton runs right through because you put 6 linemen on the line and we do get a push and we get 2 yards. Fuck yeah. Let's go. 28-17. We should see more of this shit against Pittsburgh. We did it against NC State. It's a whole different thing, but we should see it against Pitt today if we want to actually stick with these guys. Okay. So then 1 minute left in the second quarter. Van Dyke throws it for Cameron. He drops it. It wasn't going to be a deep pass, but he had a little bit of space on the sideline. Again, would have really, it's always helpful if he can do that, because then the next play, it gets tipped and it's intercepted. Actually, it's not even tipped. This one he threw, I think, right to the receiver or the defender, because the receiver wasn't even looking for the ball, I don't believe. So they get a field goal right before the end of half, because why not? And we get the ball back to start the second half, and he runs for 22 yards. Cameron really did a lot here. He was kind of pinballing after everybody, and right at the end, he tears his ACL, I believe. But it was bad as soon as he went down. And I, like I said, I feel for him. I hope that he'll have an opportunity to go to the NFL and be a third down scat back, because that's his mindset. But he can hit hard. He can block incredibly well in pass protection. And I wish him nothing but the best. So we are forced to go with Rooster more often, which, I still don't think this really affected Lashlee's play calling in this game, but it affects him in the next game. He, again, runs off tackle or stretch 3 yards. I will take 3 yards on a run every time instead of 1. He runs it again, 3 yards, off tackle the other way. And again, you've got the trips right, run off tackle left, or power left, whatever. You're forcing the defense to decide pre-snap, but everything's still open. You're not really making them commit to, it's not imbalanced. So then 3rd and 4 completes to Harley to the 40-yard line for a first down. And this was just, I believe, a simple slant. Also, ESPN apparently took this game off too. They decided not to change anything about their play-by-play recap. Everything still says 15 minutes in the third quarter. I mean, it is what it is. So then 1st and 10, we take our shot deep. Again, balance looks. We're taking our shots. Jalen Knighton runs off tackle for 11 yards and a first down, because he's got the speed and he's got the decisive attitude. He wants the ball and he wants to make a play. Now here he gets hit for a loss. In my opinion, and I've said this every time I've seen it, when it comes to someone as dynamic as Jalen Knighton, you should not have anybody in his way in the backfield. If you put Mallory on the line here and you have him run off tackle, wildly different story. Whether Mallory makes the block or not, there's at least space for Jalen to make a decision. Here, when it's this kind of power dive, it's too crowded. He needs space to work, obviously, as we see later. All right, so then we do this overloaded bullshit again. We're running Mallory in motion out to the flat. We try to run a screen pass again. Again, doesn't go anywhere. This one, he actually couldn't even get the ball off half the time. But it's all too far. It's too much. This is overloaded. This imbalanced shit does not work. I don't care who you have on your team. Lashlee needs to cut it out. He did it too much in this game. That's why he's going to get a pretty shit grade for me for North Carolina. Not just because we lost, but because there are just so many wasted plays. I mean, here, balanced attack, wide open space, Jalen Knighton off the edge. These are the things that I should be saying a lot when I review the Pittsburgh game today. Well, not today, but after today. So, and then we go 5 wide, and we have Tyler Van Dyke getting yards out of it, just almost like Derek King. Not really doing it his own way, but when you have that much space, and he does have the cannon, they have to respect him. There's tons of space. Of course, this entire game, North Carolina and Miami both couldn't tackle the quarterback for shit. Whole different discussion. But it really was incredible to see both quarterbacks, who are not renowned for running, just rack up almost, I think, 200 yards of rushing for no fucking reason. Anyway, so penalty, pass interference, Kyler McMichael, wonderful. This is basically a pass pro formation as far as I'm concerned. Now, they did move, again, this one of the receivers was in motion when the time was snapped, tried to throw to Keyshawn one-on-one, pass interference again from the 18-yard line to the 3-yard line, first down, no play, and Cody Brown runs it down their throat. I like it. Now, again, the formation going from shotgun, not such a fan. I like the personnel on the field. I love having Cody Brown in the goal line situation. I don't care if he vultures touchdowns or not. He should be the goal line back, because he got stopped right at the line of scrimmage because, again, not a great formation, not a great play call from the 3-yard line. But he, through his individual effort and the line not giving up on their play, he pushes through an extra 3 yards. I don't remember the last back we had that literally just willed himself to the end zone an extra 3 yards. Even Cheney, and when he's rehabbing, I don't remember Cheney doing that. I remember him getting like a second effort, but Cody Brown was literally running through molasses for 3 whole yards. He just kept going until finally at the end they let him go because he hit the goal line. All right. So again, we scored, they score, everybody scores because there were 87,000 points scored in this game. Anyway, so Van Dyke passes to Charleston Rambo for 8 yards off of basically a slant route or it's actually a comeback. It was a comeback in, but he ran it because there's so much space because we overloaded that side again. He's got this space to make yardage. Fine. Was this necessary? No, it's not. You don't need 4 guys on the left side in order to get Rambo into space, but fine. Why not? Again, Knighton runs it through the middle where we've got Mallory in the background. He only gets 1 yard. Broken record. All right, this time, 14 yards he gets on 3rd and 1. Now, it is true that we've got our tight end in the backfield. Knighton, actually, the line created such a great hole in this play. It was like you try it enough times, and now that they've got a dynamic back there where they can just say they pick a hole and they block it, they know that he'll pick the right hole. He even had to squirt through. Like there really was issues with him getting up to the line. But once he did, all of the linemen and Mallory even got downfield, got to the second level, and it made a big difference. But these are rare. Like I said, it still is very cramped back there. So if you don't block it perfectly, this is not going to be the result most of the time. And not just for this game, anytime, especially against Pitt today. All right. Passing complete to Keyshawn. Just make sure. Yeah. So we're still getting up to the 50-yard line, incomplete to Keyshawn Smith. Can't get pass interference called on them every time. Oh, did I do it twice? Yeah, I did. Okay. Now, Will Mallory, 11 yards. Notable on this one, Mallory's spread out. And also when he catches it, he breaks a tackle or two to get over the line for the 11-yard line. I love it. He is a big dude. He should be falling forward for those extra yards. I think when they stopped putting the spotlight on Mallory so much, he started to produce a lot more. He was letting the hype get to him, I think, in terms of feeling the pressure of having to be the guy, right? He has to be the focal point of the offense. He doesn't. He's a very good supporting player. He's not a star. Restrepo wants to be a star, and I love that about him. He took a stop route here, and he basically ran through 2 guys to get another set 8 yards out of it. He has the mentality. He wants the ball. Feed him, which they do at NC State, or they try to at NC State. And I love it. It opens everything up. All right, Rambo, 5 yards on the screen pass. Actually, Restrepo was blocking for him here. So again, keep X in the game. All right. 2nd and 5, Van Dyke, incomplete to Keyshawn Smith. Now he's going for the end zone, or very close to it. So fair enough. He's being aggressive. Don't mind it. And then Rambo, his false start, he goes a little early, and then this pass is just thrown out of bounds because they thought they had a free play afterwards. I believe this was that infamous play where nobody fucking moved, and I think it was Ja'Kai Clark just misread whether the North Carolina guys actually crossed the line or not. So we settle for a field goal, basically on a broken play. And we get a stop on defense for once. And we've got this. We've got Brashard Smith and we've got Jalen in the backfield. Love the combination. It's a good look. And Van Dyke ends up being the one running 5 yards up the middle, but it was off of a lot of motion, a lot of eye candy. It allowed him to get those 5 yards because, again, the defense is going to be worried about everybody but him in terms of running. Now, Brashard Smith is a freshman. This is a great play call to Brashard. However, he's a freshman. He ran this about 3 yards deep for no reason. There was nobody around him for 5 yards. By the time he gets the ball and turns upfield, they're already recovered and ready to rally to the ball. If he runs that route deeper from the get-go, he's fast enough to get away from the linebacker. There's no doubt in my mind that he would be still open. He just wouldn't be giving them an extra 5 yards to recover. He would already be 3-4 yards past the line of scrimmage. So he again, it makes sense if like Will Mallory's running behind the line of scrimmage because he doesn't have a lot of space and he needs that time to turn upfield. Brashard does not. He's far too fast to give up extra yardage off of that. But I like the play design. It's the same play design we've been doing. It's just been running it to different personnel, which means they should be crafted differently. Again, you want to craft it for your personnel. Also, for the record, Larry Hodges started playing in this game. I don't care what anybody says. That man is not a tight end. Sorry. He's a tight end like LaRon Bird was a tight end for us. He's not a tight end. He's skinny. He's yes, I know he's over 6 feet tall and he's decent blocker, all of that. Every time he's out in the slot, I have no idea that he's a tight end because he looks exactly like Charleston Rambo as far as I'm concerned. He's a little bigger, but not much bigger. He's not Will Mallory bigger. He's not Elijah Royo bigger. So when you see why there's a wide receiver in line, it's because it's Larry Hodges because he's not actually a tight end. Sorry. Now, this play, fucking baller. Jalen Knighton hits it for 60 yards and the break, get him in space. One, it wasn't even a cut. It was a shimmy. He just kind of wriggled up the field past two guys and he was gone. Love it. So in my estimation, the running backs in any sort of chess football analogy are rooks. Rooks are very difficult to develop. It takes them a while. You need to work within the pawn structure, just like you would with the offensive line, to get them in their best place. But a rook on the open file is the best place for any rook. So greater vertical mobility, yes, just like Knighton on that play. The ability to penetrate the enemy camp, or we'll just say the secondary, yes, indeed, and position itself on the back ranks, aka touchdown rooster. And you can see here the open space for the rook. He can hit every single one of those spots. Rook on the other side cannot. He can only move forward one. And yeah, he can move he can move horizontally, but that doesn't really help you attack the other side. So I also do want to point out that oftentimes you won't be able to open up an entire thing, an entire file for the rook just by leaving the rook where it is, because they always start in one of the corners. You have to move them left or right to kind of get them in the best position. I would say that that's typically the case for our running backs as well, any running back, but especially someone like Jalen Knighton, move him left and right, get him out in space on the edges. Okay, so now we come back, and Larry Hodges almost catches the ball here. It was another poor pass. Again, bizarre formation, but it's balanced. Everybody here is eligible, and I actually double checked, and I believe it was oh gosh, I think it was Cody who was behind in the backfield. He was offset as well, so he wasn't in Van Dyke's way when he did a very deep drop and made that pass. I know that the guys who know better than me about playing as quarterback can talk about how deep that drop was and whether that was a good call or not. But it definitely threw off the pass. Hodges was wide open because nobody would cover the backup tight end who's actually a receiver. So I like the idea of him being more of a threat in that regard because other teams treat him like a tight end when, again, he's too skinny and too, in my opinion, quick or fast to be treated like that. He's a hybrid. Anyway, so 2nd and 10 at the end of the third quarter, Knighton runs up the gut for 14 yards. So when you take Mallory out of the backfield, he has more opportunities to pick the hole he likes. So now, start of the fourth quarter, we're still down 4 points. Cody Brown, no gain off of the tackle. He's basically running a counter here. It's bizarre to me. Cody Brown is, again, Jalen Knighton, sure. Cody Brown should be running downhill in terms of it should not be a zone blocking scheme. And I know that's not really what we run, but Cody Brown is a traditional, he gives me Philip Lindsay vibes. Just give the man one cut and go. And so this kind of, like I said, if the motion was across the line, everybody is, shifting left, and it's with a purpose. I like that a lot better for Cody than this play. So even with the fake screen and whatever else, it doesn't really matter. That's a Jalen Knighton play call, but Cody Brown was in there. So now Jalen Knighton gets that play call and he makes 7 yards out of it. Again, they were kind of in the backfield all night, but it's okay. All right. Tyler Van Dyke passed down incomplete. So this one was off of the play action, up the gut, and then through it. The linebacker steps up on the play action. Nobody blocks him because it's play action. And Van Dyke then has a play call that goes right through the middle of the defense. So you basically invite the linebacker up to the line of scrimmage to then pat the pass, just to knock the pass down. Because even the it's not even like the play action is going across the formation where the linebacker has to decide whether he's going to shift out of his gap assignment or not. You're literally running the fake to where he's supposed to be anyway. So this is another example of a play design that makes no fucking sense to me. And part of my language, it doesn't make sense to invite the defense to the exact spot they're supposed to be in to defend the pass. That is not the point of play action. I mean, I'm not saying you have to do a naked bootleg or whatever, but you really should be sending the defense somewhere else on your play action, somewhere else, anywhere else, not running dive through basically the the two hole. Well, actually, it's the one hole, but just sending it right through the center of the fucking line and then looking for a pass. I mean, Van Dyke was looking down the center of the field the whole time, and he was just assuming that he could gun it past a linebacker who's unblocked and standing, right at the line of scrimmage. It makes no fucking sense, and I want you all to remember this because it's going to screw us at the very end. Spoiler alert. All right, so we keep going. We try for it. 4th and 3. Van Dyke passes incomplete to Harley. Don't love it. I mean, I don't mind going for it, but that was your play call. At least send Harley wide. Again, what did they really good at? Out routes. Hit Van Dyke to Harley, out routes. All day, every day. That is what they excel at. And when it's 4th down and you really need this conversion, you don't run that. I don't get it. Anyway, so we get the ball back. They scored again, 45-34 in 9:22 in the 4th. And Van Dyke basically gets out of, he runs out of bounds. So instead of throwing the ball away, which I would have preferred, he gets a sack, quote unquote, for 1 yard. Fine. Then he tries to pass incomplete to Keyshawn Smith. That one it was high, I believe, actually. It was not dropped by Keyshawn. And then passing complete to Charleston Rambo. This one he had to just run away from everything and just throw it deep. Not great. So actually, this one I think was a designed rollout that did shit because you don't roll out Van Dyke. He's not good at it. I'm not saying that he doesn't make stuff happen, but the passes he makes, the angles he has to take in order to get the ball there, it has no zip. It's just awkward as fuck to watch. And I mean, he's, having to throw across his body, contort. He's not good at it. I'm not saying that he can't do it when the need arises, which he does later, but why call that play? Why make him do that? Like, I haven't seen him roll out once this year where I said, yeah, that seems very natural for him. And he does a great job putting it right on the money. No, it's not what he's good at. Keep him in the pocket. Anyway. Oh, we get the ball back on the 3-yard line with 6:40 in the 4th quarter, and Van Dyke short arms it, and the dude should have picked it off all day, every day. He was waiting for it. He just dropped it when he got to the ground. And I know Tyler can throw it deeper than that, but he felt, I would say, uncomfortable on the 3-yard line. It wasn't a great, the formation was fine, and we had a lot of pass pro, but it's just cramped. It's really, really cramped back there. And I know he was very worried about taking a safety back there. So not a bad play call. In my opinion, Keyshawn needs to run that route along the sideline and let Van Dyke throw it as far as he humanly can, so that only he can either catch it or it goes out of bounds. That to me is a better situation than, I think King Keyshawn was around the left hash mark when it was almost picked off. So just not a good play design in terms of where the route should go. But he decides to run it himself for 4 yards the next time to kind of get out of danger. And Keyshawn has a false start and again, but it's okay because Charleston Rambo, they get the rollout, quote unquote, not designed, and he throws it back across his body for 16 yards. Wonderful. We can't bank on that. That is not play design. That is fire drill. Just fucking make a play happen, and they did. Give him props, but it just by the skin of our teeth here. The whole freaking game. Okay, pass complete to Keyshawn Smith. This was on a post route, I believe, for a first down. Um, excellent play, stood in the pocket, delivered. And then Harley, 25 yards, stood in the pocket, delivered, caught it along the sideline. Awesome shit. Now, incomplete to Romello. This was another deep pass. A little too far for him. Fine. No big deal. Keep going after this defense. Now, we decide to run it 3 yards. This would be a 1 yard run or a 0 yard run with anybody else. Jalen just he makes it 3 yards for no reason. He actually made it 4 yards, but they called it three. Anyway, you obviously see that. So this one was him again sidearming it. I mean, it just he threw it, but he kind of had to throw way over to that sideline to make it happen. But he gets it. 3rd and 8. Again, he's making lemonade out of lemons here. We get the first down. Penalty, pass interference. It wasn't a great penalty call, but they gave it to us finally for another 15 yards. Then he gets sacked for 11 yards. So earlier in the drive, we turned loose at blitzer. We do it again. Just awful. Awful lack of communication. All right. Then Rambo drops the pass. Now, I know this was not an easy catch. I'm not saying it was an easy catch, but Rambo is our number one receiver, and it hit him in the hands. So I call that a dropped pass. And the biggest thing there, and I know he's cleaned it up later, Charleston gets up asking for a flag. That's what the mindset we were in. It just not in a position to tough it out at the end. But anyway, Keyshawn Smith, however, very tough. 21 yards, first down. Good. I mean, it was a shorter pass on 3rd and 21 because the idea was that we were going to go for it on 4th down anyway. But Keyshawn takes it. He gets hit in stride. They give him the benefit of the doubt, and he makes the first down happen. So off of play action. I don't know why the play action was necessary. It was not, in my opinion, but I felt it was worth noting that we drew up play action in a situation that clearly we should not have been running the ball. Again, foreshadowing for later. Anyway, worked out okay. Here, we'll even run it twice. 1st and goal, Jalen Knighton, 4-yard run, touchdown. God, he had to be so patient on this, but at least you could see where Mallory, he's in the backfield, but he's not in the spot that Jalen needs to be operating. He's farther to the left. He's closer to the line. He's basically in a typical tight end position, not a H-back or fullback position. And it gives Jalen enough space for him to find the end zone. And then the pass to Rambo for a 2-point conversion was absurd. Nobody draws up a play like that. I'm not even going to show it because it's just Van Dyke running to his left and throwing it basically like behind the back pass up high for Rambo to dunk it. I mean, good stuff, I guess. But again, skin of our teeth shit all day, all by the skin of our teeth. Now we get the ball, 2:46 left. Van Dyke complete to Jalen Knighton for 13 yards and a first down. Great play design. Why did it take us until the 4th quarter to I don't know. Like even running that play to Cam Harris, running that play to anybody is fine. But to Jalen Knighton, it should be absolutely deadly. And it just took us so long to have him just leak out of the backfield, stand 5 yards downfield, and then hit him with it. And he's got a ton of space to get that first down. We should see that all day today. We saw it more against NC State. We will get there. But I mean, that needs to happen all the time. Rambo here, Van Dyke basically threw it away. He was getting hit, pressured. Knighton, 8 yards up the gut. Not a bad play call. It was 2:46. There's plenty of time. We're already at the 50-yard line. And we take a long time to run the next play, but we do get the 3 yards to the first down. Again, zone read. And again, Knighton's going to get 3 yards 90% of the time on those carries. I'm okay with him getting 3 yards every carry. When you get 4, then we're really cooking. But 3 is better than 1. All right, Van Dyke decides to run it 14 yards for first down. This was off a scramble. It runs it for 12 yards. It basically is the same play. Next time, he just takes a different gap, different hole to get into the secondary. But hey, North Carolina did it to us all game. We did it to them when the chips were down. Not a bad idea to try and props to the offensive line for making sure that those holes were open. You know, honestly, they defended or blocked very well throughout this game and NC State compared to how they've been doing before. I just want to see them keep making those steps forward, and maybe we have ourselves a real unit by the end of the season. All right, 1st and 10 at the UNC 22. Jalen was not his first call. And here's where we're going to get to this. 2:46 left. You've had these two runs. You're inside of the, well, not inside the red zone, but you're close. And this is where last time you're like, okay, you're already within field goal range. The idea here is to take shots at the end zone. That's what we were annoyed by with Virginia. We never took one shot at the end zone. Here, throws it, Jalen Knighton. It's not his first pass choice. I get that. But it's just kind of a, okay, so you just throw it away then. Why try to dump it off to Jalen? I know he can make stuff happen, blah, 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 blah. But the idea here of why are we not trying to win the game, or why are we not trying to tie the game with a field goal? It's because we're trying to win the game by going to the end zone. First pass, dump off. Second pass, right, bad and intercepted. But even prior to that, So 7, 8, and here we are. I actually missed a play. I think it's the next one, but we know about it. Yep. Damn it. Okay. Anyway, the prior play, even though I skipped over it, was a 6-yard pass. It was to Charleston Rambo. Again, it did not go through the air towards the end zone. It was a 6-yard pass, and it milked a ton of time off the clock because we were basically out of time. We were out of timeouts by that point. So my thought process here is, why are you not throwing it deep to the end zone? It's not even that deep. It was the 16-yard line, 22-yard line. Let's see, play before. Yeah, 22-yard line. So it's dropped here. You have time. I know it wasn't 2:46 because ESPN is shit for keeping track of time. But the idea here is you had a stopped clock. You throw it deep to the end zone. If it's picked in the end zone, you did your best. Throwing it 6 yards and basically forcing a rush at the end is just not a good decision. Not just by TVD, but in terms of the play calling. There should be no one running a 6-yard route there. Even Rambo, it was on the sideline. I get that he was supposed to catch it and get out of bounds. He didn't. Okay. He came back to the ball to try and make a play. Again, not helpful. Just drop the pass. Don't catch it there. There's no point in catching it. You're already in field goal range. This is a touchdown. This is first down, touchdown range, or nothing. But that's okay. Instead, on 3rd and 4 with 6 seconds left, what do we run? We run play action with 6 seconds left, which nobody goes for, and we run pass right up the gut where everyone in the defense is already crashing towards because of the play action, which again, nobody was going to go for anyway. So you just draw the defense right into the fucking danger zone. Pass gets batted and intercepted for like the 4th time this game. And the 2nd time on that play call specifically, it got this. So here, I actually run it back. This is the last thing that we were supposed to be doing. I'm just so mad at the play call. It's fucking obnoxious. Anyway, end game principles. In chess, you can win on time. You can let the timer basically run out on your opponent and you win. It's described people in fast games move really fast just to win on time. They're not actually trying to do anything strategically. They end up with very poor positions because it's not about, they know that they're not going to be checkmated. So they're just there to run the clock out with stupid calls, stupid moves. It doesn't matter. As long as it's a legal move, they can do it. Now, often when you try to do this, you make a lot of mistakes and you do repetitive moves that can be easily anticipated. Case in point, you tell me which one is the play that we ran at the end of the game and which was the one that we ran earlier in the 4th quarter. It's almost identical. Both of these passes were batted down at the line. Well, one was batted down, one was batted up for an interception. Why is this the play call that you're making at the end of the game? Because you are in a rush. Because the play before you called you didn't call it. You didn't call the pass to the back of the end zone where either it's caught or it goes out of bounds and you have time to reset and you don't have the time pressure of the clock to decide how you want to attack the 3rd down play. Now, this is someone on TVD for making a pass to someone when they weren't going to get the first down. Like it just wasn't going to happen. And it was such a poor pass that Charleston Rambo, again, a more experienced player, should just drop the pass because it wasn't going to help you guys at all. It wasn't going to help us get to where we wanted to be, which was to score a touchdown. Borregales is going to make the field goal or he's not. Like at that range, it doesn't matter at that point. It's about the execution and it's about the play call. Someone from the sideline, Rhett Lashlee, called this play, which never worked throughout the game. Not one time was it actually effective. Even some other variations of it, we got a roughing the passer call out of it. That's it. It's never worked. And we went for it anyway. Why? Because you were pressed for time. You needed to call something. So you just called this play because, again, you're attempting to basically flag your opponent. Obviously, it doesn't always work. Also, come on, man. You could do better than that. And he does here. Even though we start off with a fucking false start on Keyshawn to start off the game with NC State, we are also not down 7 points. And I just have to roll through these because we could see the difference between the play calling and the execution between these two games. So, play action one way to the left, throw to the right. Charleston Rambo is there for 5 yards. Okay. Pass incomplete. He this one, I think it slipped out of his hand. It just went straight down in the ground. And it wasn't even intent. It definitely wasn't intentional. So they didn't hit him with intentional grounding, but it could have been because the ball went literally nowhere. And then complete the 22 yards for first down. I love the fact that they came after him with pressure. He was ready for it. Great pass to Harley. Well, it wasn't an out route, but it was a deep out or a deep comeback. Working the sideline with Harley is the move. Harley should be out there getting these passes on the sideline. Rambo should be getting the passes, I guess, as a stop route, which he got this whole game, or going deep, basically verticals. And we'll get to Mallory. Okay, so they call for holding. They basically threw down Mallory when he was trying to pass it deep. I actually think it was the wrong side, but whatever. It was because of a holding call. And then we came out with this formation all game where you've got Mallory offset from the line, and then you've kind of got, it's almost trips, but it's basically wide receiver or tight end over on the right side, but he's offset, so everyone's eligible. I like this. I like this a lot. Keyshawn is still isolated, but, it's not such a weird-looking formation. He gets the 5 yards. 2nd and 5, he runs for the 5 yards. A design run, but it gets the job done. And then he goes for Restrepo. This one, X thought he should have caught. It was a tough catch, but he really wanted it. That's fine. And then he hits Mallory for 8 yards here off of basically Mallory catches it and then turns outside like he's supposed to, and he makes it look very smooth. And honestly, I don't know why he didn't do that all year because he's running these stop routes all game or all year, and he always turns inside and gets mauled by the linebacker instead of turning outside and the safety misses, or it's a safety. It's a lot easier to take a hit from a safety than a linebacker. Again, off the play action, which with a balanced formation makes a lot more sense. Okay. Now, Van Dyke completes this to Rambo for 25 yards and a touchdown. This, again, eye candy on the left side with the guys stacked in this shit. Is it super helpful? Not in my opinion. You could have used the same exact formation with the tight end over that you did before, but you wanted to make it look fancy because you really wanted the defense to commit to a screen pass. Fortunately, it was a misdirection to let Rambo go deep for the touchdown on the other side, so I will allow it. The whole point of doing these eye candy and whatever is to direct the defense left when you want to go right or short when you want to go long, whatever. This hits both of those marks, so I will fucking take it. Also, again, play action. It wasn't much of a play action. It was more of just a motion or a movement by the running back. I think Van Dyke saw the one-on-one before the ball was even snapped, so he just immediately went for it. Love it. To me, the way that Lashlee started this game, obviously the best starting opening drive we've had all year, but it speaks to me about the Kings Indian attack, opening system, several moves. The resulting arrangement has multiple positional opportunities. So you've got your knight, who I would consider Will Mallory, out here kind of doing his thing. Again, he got a couple looks in that first drive already. Big deal. Get him confidence. You've got your rook here, which would be the running back. Didn't really run the ball too much, but did a lot of play action, kind of prepared the running back so that when you start actually running with him, he starts getting, he gets somewhere because you've been showing that look the whole game. And the most deadly of all, the fianchettoed bishop, which we'll talk about, but the receiver as the bishop, primed and ready to strike deep and pretty much at a moment's notice. He's in a good spot where he can chip away, do short little things, but also can take it deep like Rambo did at a moment's notice. So unlike other openings, the King's Indian attack is not just a specific set of moves. It's a system where the player has discretion to play whatever he sees is working. You see that flexibility is built in. So we've also got the other knight here, which again, we'll get to Arroyo. And then the other receiver we'll get to, well, we already kind of have Harley, but all the other receivers are Strepo. And again, the rook is already there ready, hasn't moved yet, but he will move out and make his presence known. Okay, fine. Great opening. Got a lot to work with. What do we do in the next play? Well, Restrepo thinks that he should have really caught this ball. Again, he's getting down on himself. I love the fire. He wants to be a star, and I think he's going to be. But these passes were difficult to make. But the fact that we keep going with them is great. All right, so here Jalen runs off tackle. He really tried to spread it out there. NC State has a good defense, and they play that 3-3-5, which to me means that he really should be trying to go off tackle, but they were very specific. They tried to take that away. They obviously watched film from against North Carolina, so they limit him to 1 yard there. And then he runs for 4 yards here off of a speed option play. What the fuck, man? You want to do this nonsense on 3rd and 9? Just stop. Just stop. It was 3rd and 1, fine. 3rd and 9, you expect Knighton to get 9 yards off of a speed option with a quarterback who is a pocket passer. Straight line speed and all. Speed option doesn't make any fucking sense. De'Aaron King's not out there. And we only ran like 2 speed option plays with De'Aaron King like the whole year before he got hurt. So I don't know what Lashlee was thinking here. Just a freaking idiotic play. But one of very few that he made throughout the game. So I will be a little nicer to him. Okay. Run off tackle again, away from the overload. NC State was trying to limit him. He's managed to get 1 yard each time, but you could see where the arrow is. He was getting hit, or at least being his progress was stopped in the backfield each time, and he's trying to fall forward for a yard. So it takes him a while to get there, but same route. Off of the play action, Van Dyke gets sacked for a loss. I don't even think they blocked him. I mean, maybe they did, but he had really nowhere to go. And then on 3rd and 14, he runs for 5 yards to the 26 to kick it again. This one made a little more sense. He was just trying to make something out of nothing after getting sacked the play before. It is what it is. So we end the first quarter. Well, we get the ball back right before the end of the first quarter, but I will say 1 out of 3 drives where we score a touchdown on the first drive. The fact that that is the best first quarter we have had the entire season is so incredibly sad. But at least we know we can do it. So now we can do better against Pittsburgh, theoretically. So we get the ball, like I said, 55 seconds left. ESPN actually paid attention because it was a primetime game, so they actually updated the times. We get it with a minute left. 2 yards off the end, which is progress. That means that he's getting a little further into the line before he gets taken down. That one, I believe, he gets tripped. So he actually does hit the line with momentum. He doesn't keep his balance super well in those tight spaces, and that's okay. Again, his whole thing, the Rooster is an explosive player. So anyway, he completes it here. Case in point, 12 yards, and it was off of a screen. Love it. We have not run screen, I don't think, this entire season, not one time. And this was just a simple, the tackle detaches, everybody else lets them through, playing off the fact that Van Dyke said some very, we'll say boastful words about being able to take down this NC State defense. So they were all very aggressive. They used that to their advantage. I like that a lot, a whole lot coming from Lashlee. We need to see this shit the rest of the year. Doesn't have to be every drive or anything like that, but if you've got a defense that's very aggressive, just do it. Okay, this one Restrepo actually had in his hands, but he had to lay out. He was vertical or completely horizontal at one point, and then lands, and it just doesn't hold on to it. He kind of almost got the gather, the scramble at the end, but keep going for it, man. Keep throwing him the ball. Just, take your shots when you can. So obviously, didn't get on first down, go for a 4 yard to Rambo, much more consistent player. Starts eating him up. 4 yards there, 5 yards on 3rd and 6 to Keyshawn Smith. Keyshawn hits this in as a slant. Basically, it was like a follow route. He needs to get the first down. I mean, he didn't really sell out for the first down. That's okay, but you get to the 5 yards instead of 6. You just gotta go for it. But on 4th and 1, it's okay because everybody bites up on the short stuff, and Knighton goes deep. Shades of Louisville. Fucking love it. This was such a great play call. And it wasn't even, I mean, there was some shenanigans on the right side. Again, the tight end over formation. But really, this was just pure Jalen Knighton in space is going to beat you. I don't care who you are. Again, I know Pittsburgh does not have guys this fast. So, this shit needs to happen. We need to be setting this stuff up all day. We don't need to run it all the time, but we need to set it up all day. So we're up 14-10. We get the ball back. We're on the 25-yard line, and we do this shit where we break out the offensive tackle out wide, Zion Nelson, to try and do a screen pass. I mean, this is clearly the only purpose in having this formation. The two receivers are basically phalanx on the left and not going anywhere. Zion barely touched the defender. So even when we start the tackle 5-10 yards outside of the tackle box, in space, ready to block someone, we still don't have any linemen who can block in space. We just don't. And I don't know what else Lashley's supposed to do. Like, we can't do all of his bag of tricks because we don't have linemen fast enough to get out there. I will say they've been blocking better in pass protection. Awesome. Vital for a pass protecting, a pocket passer like Van Dyke. Vital. I'm fine with if we have a line that just does that, totally fine with it. If we have a line that doesn't move a whole bunch, but can at least zone block and create some holes, good with that too. We don't need them to be more than that, but it's very clear that they're not. So, anybody who wants to be like, we should run this or we should run more, whatever, it's not going to fucking happen. We keep trying to pull the tackle and guard around, and it's doing better. But again, they're not going very far. They're staying inside the tackle box. And, again, I love that for Cody Brown. With Jalen, it works fairly well, but it's not great. Yes. Let's see. Tyler Van Dyke, after we get the false start on Navon Donald, speaking of the offensive line, this false start, Van Dyke runs downfield, gets a little extracurricular activity from NC State after he talks shit about them. Ja'Kai does the right thing and says fuck you, and we get hit with sportsman like whatever. We end up at the 13-yard line, and we have to punt anyway, so it's fine. It's really not that big a deal. Now we get the ball back on the 6-yard line, hit Rambo for 12 yards. Titan 5 yards. We're running eye candy over the top, but really it's just an off tackle route. You could see the tight end. They decided to move Mallory from being inside the tackle box at that H-back formation to a more traditional tight end offset, or I guess still an H-back, but outside of the tackle box. Did wonders. Let's do that all the rest of the year. I think it's easier against the 3-3-5, but I don't give a shit. Keep him out of the fucking backfield because it's not helping, and he can still pass protect just fine from there. All right, Restrepo again. This one was just, I believe, overthrown. But again, keep feeding him. But good things will happen. That connection will happen. OBB will have their fucking match made in heaven from their two ambassadors. He wants to be a star. We got to keep feeding X. Rambo is a star. 5 yards. This guy could be the next Michael Thomas, man. I love the way that he plays. But he doesn't need to be a world beater. He just feed him in terms of quantity, volume. But Restrepo is the one who can just absolutely gouge people. If he locks it in, he could be Cooper Kupp, but Latino. All right, another false start, but this time by Ja'Kai Clark. And we get the first down anyway because we hit Jalen. I believe this was on an angle route. Beautiful shit. This is Madden stuff now. Work that angle route. The halfback angle, beautiful play. and we just never really had anybody who could run it effectively. And that's not a knock on Cameron Harris. Honestly, we needed Cam back there to do pass protection because they were crowding the line so much. They weren't respecting the deep ball at all. But now they have to. So it works very well. Now Knighton, again, 1 yard. They were plugging up the holes really well against him so that he wasn't getting 3 yards of carry. He was getting back to 1 yard of carry. But we keep testing. Keyshawn gets 6 yards on the screen, or not screen, slant, and 3rd and 3, incomplete, and we have to punt. Now, this pass, Lee was a designed rollout. Such garbage. Stop rolling him out. Just stop it. Don't ever do it. He has to run enough for his life as it is. Just fucking don't make him roll out. Anyway, 14-10, get the ball back. Jalen gets 4 yards kind of off the swing pass. Beautiful. Gets 5 yards on the run to the 30. Beautiful. And Cody Brown gets no yards. 0 yard gain. Here's my only thing with this. You don't need to go big on 3rd and 1 from the Miami 30-yard line. I don't like doing shotgun for run, short yardage situation. But at the same time, this is a goal line thing. And again, later on, we don't do this formation on the goal line and it screws us. We do it here and it's like, oh, Lashlee tried, it didn't work. Oh, well, this is just not the right place on the field to do it. It's fine. It's fine. You could have done a QB sneak there and it would have been better, in my opinion. Anyway, whatever. NC State scores right before halftime. This, to me, is really terrible because we gave the ball back to them with 1:15 left when we could have gotten a first down and, at least run the clock out so they didn't get a fucking touchdown at the end of the half. Also, Manny Diaz called the timeout to give them the extra time to set up that pass for the fucking touchdown. Again, not going to say it. I already said why I think he's not the man. He just keeps proving it. Okay, Rambo, 60 yards to start the game. Beautiful shit. Off the play action. Out of the same wide receiver over formation. We just sent someone in motion first. I don't think the eye candy really did anything other than make people think that we were going to fuck around short again because that's what we always do. But this time, we have Tyler Van Dyke who says, let it rip. Good. There's a difference between trying to do a short pass over the middle off of this play action, and even then that would be okay if he went to the left, versus here's the play action, I'm going to throw it fucking deep as hell. I mean, it froze the safeties. Hey, I'm all about it. What did we say about that Fianchetto Bishop? Oh, right, we're getting there. So then we again go to the same formation that we scored the touchdown 25 yards on, but this time we actually run it 1 yard loss because this formation is trash when it comes to actually running the ball. And when people realize that, the teams realize that, it falls apart. It's there as a gimmick. So not a fan. All right, this one, more traditional, trips wide, trips open. Complete to Jalen Knighton for 6 yards. This was another screen pass, I believe. Love it. Like I said, easy peasy money. Now, 3rd and 5, incomplete to Mike Harley. This one I don't think was on purpose. I think he had to roll out because of, whatever. This one, Harley almost brings it in. It's fine, right? 3rd and 5 on the NC State 10-yard line. You are trying to get the first down here. You don't have 6 seconds left. Totally reasonable not to try and go to the end zone because it saves you the ability to get a field goal, but they jump off sides. Thank you, Corey Durden from Florida State. He still got the Knowles curse, bringing it with him. God, he was not good. It doesn't mean that he played terribly the whole game, but he just really helped us out for no fucking reason. So we go to this formation, and they've got all of the eye candy you want, running the fake run to the left, rolling out right, kind of rolling out, not really, just kind of, fake play action and take a step right and flip it to Will Mallory, who sells out for the touchdown. Love it. Also, again, Mallory, wide left. I like that because it also helps with the running game. So it's just beautifully designed shit. So let's talk about the Fianchetto. So that's where the bishop is. Whenever that bishop is basically, like I said, second rank of the adjacent file where they start, good shit. This is where we like them to live. In this particular setup, actually, all four of the bishops are fianchettoed, but I'm highlighting the one on the right here because it allows things to work in concert. It allows the fianchetto bishop to become more active, which allows a simultaneous attack in concert with other pieces, such as the tight end slash the knight. So in this particular example, the knight moves out of the way, it attacks the king. Even though the knight might get captured as well, he still scores for the white side. Because the bishop now is wide the fuck open. And so he's going to be able to take that one and that one in quick succession. There's really nothing they can do about it. And like I said, just by removing this guy right here, even if the bishop, say the knight or the rook behind him gets protected or whatever, you can just retreat the bishop back and he remains basically like an arrow on the string. You're just ready to shoot just to shoot right across the fucking board whenever you want. It's a beautiful thing. Definitely what happened with Rambo today, because he kept getting those little ones, and then 60 yards, 25 yards, touchdown, just huge plays. And that's because of the way that he was being used and set up by Lashlee. So much better play calling across the board. Now, Cody Brown, 5 yards to the this was such a weird sequence of events. But anyway, he gets 5 yards. He was fine off of this counter. They did pull, I believe, the garden tackle to try and get him out in space. And then Romello decides to keep fighting after the play. So then we end up with 2nd and 16 on the 6. And this time he only runs 1 yard. Why is he running off tackle? Like, just power. He should be running power. He's not fast enough to get out there in space. This is a Jalen Knighton play call. I love having Arroyo there blocking. He clears out space for Cody Brown, who's just not fast enough to run away from the defense. He wants to run through people, not around them. But we still left him out there. Yeah. And then he gets sacked for 3 yards. This one was just him getting out of the end zone. Good, very, very good idea. Just take the sack. Don't take the safety. Don't get an interception. Punt it away. Is it great? No, it's not great at all. But that whole sequence was just already fucked from the beginning. But again, play calling could have been better there. Oh yes, delay of game. Gosh, and then we run Knighton for 3 yards. He's going from 1 yard every carry to about 2 yards, maybe. Now he's up to 3 yards off of the same basic run play. He's slowly chipping away. It takes a long time to develop those rooks. All right. This one was just a beautiful pass. Just laser. Just right up the gut. Hits him 15 yards. Let's go. So then he runs for 9 yards off of the QB option and he keeps it. Fucking great. Now, it didn't work the next time he did this, but I don't care. This is great for him to be able to read the defense properly, keep them honest. It makes it so much easier for Knighton later as he starts getting bigger and bigger yards because they have to account for him holding the ball. Now here, Knighton goes off tackle. They didn't block very well. Mallory, unfortunately, they didn't seal properly to give him the edge. But, you can't always win, but it's 3rd and 1. Okay. We get this very fun. It's an I formation in the backfield. You also have Arroyo out there as well. And you run the receiver towards the line to basically clear everything out so that it's very obviously a play action pass to fucking Will Mallory out of the backfield, right? That's how we got the touchdown. Yes, but the play design was so good. Everybody was going to bite on fucking Will Mallory, and TVD sells it. He looks him off, and then Elijah Arroyo's wide open deep because he's the backup tight end that no one's going to guard. 29 yards. Incredible. Incredible stuff. And now Van Dyke here, he does throw it, but he's not actually running on the rollout. Because of the eye candy, because of the play action, because of the fact that Mallory's going leaking out into the flat and is the centerpiece of the play, it stretches the defense out short, and Tyler basically just kind of trots out to the flat before he throws it deep to Arroyo. But unless it's like this was just such a well-designed play that Van Dyke wasn't even necessarily on point with his pass. He just needed to get it to Arroyo because he was so open. I mean, he was wide, like 10 yards of space open. It was great. So incredible stuff. And then we follow up with roughing the passer on Corey Durden. Haha. Still the gift that keeps on giving. Um, yeah, the pass was too far, I believe, for Keyshawn there because we're on the 24-yard line. But now we're on the 12. Jalen runs for 4 yards. We do the fake screen, and he runs to the right side. Again, misdirection. Send the defense one way with the fake screen. Go the other way with Knighton. He gets 8 yards. 2nd and 2. Knighton runs for 1 yard. From the shotgun on the 4-yard line. And then 3rd and 1, we run from shotgun again, and he gets a loss of 2 yards. This is where Cody Brown should be living all day, every day. Just doesn't make any fucking sense. But okay, whatever. Anyway, so we settle for a field goal. Knighton gets 7 yards here off of a much more open setup because we're on the 25-yard line, not the 2-yard line. Then 28 yards, breaks it loose. This is fourth quarter, starting to build up. He's making things happen. They're getting tired. Our line continues to block the same way, and it's consistent. All right, Van Dyke again slides for a sack, quote unquote, but he doesn't take a big hit, and he gets it back by hitting Rambo, who then breaks a tackle. He was just eating him up all day, which is the whole point. Cody Brown, 4 yards up the gut. Let's go. That's the kind of Brown he should be getting. Jalen Knighton, up the gut, only 2 yards. Shockingly, your personnel matters. Now, Rambo, 5 yards. On 3rd and 4, 5 yards to Rambo. He ran them off with the stop route. I just love it. This is the, little by little, let's eat up these yards. 7 yards here, 5 yards there. Coming off, well, basically a counter action with Arroyo in there. Arroyo actually got blown up there, but because the guy had to push so hard, he actually created space behind him for Knighton to slip by him, which was super fun. 6 yards on 2nd and 3 from the NC State 10. Gets first down. He did basically a counter play again. This one, he bounced it outside. It wasn't really counter. It was a zone read, but he was able to see that there was nothing in the middle and was able to run around everyone because he's just really, really fucking fast. This one, I was very excited for what this play was going to look like, but with the fumble, we don't really get to know how it turned out. This is fine. 4-yard line, at least he's under center. Is it a full-on I-form big formation? No, but it's not a fucking shotgun play either. So we recover it. Rambo here. We go with the same setup we've been going with the whole game. Fake on the play action and hit Rambo in the backfield or in the end zone. I don't love it because, again, running from shotgun, no one on the defense should actually be worried about the run play from here. You've got so much space to make up for it. You should really be ready for the pass. Now, I actually think that they were ready for the pass. Van Dyke was just so pinpoint with his pass, and Rambo is so on fire, it didn't fucking matter. Okay, so they settle for a field goal. We get the ball back, and what do we do here? He tries to do, now we get the ball on the 11-yard line, so fair enough. He tries to keep again with the option, and honestly, it wasn't a bad read. It just, there were two guys who came through the line, so it makes it hard to run option when there are two guys to account for both players. So just poor blocking there. Tries to do the screen pass. Again, not a bad play call, but third time's the charm. They finally read the screen there to get 4-yard loss, and then they run it at the 4-minute mark for 2 yards. I know everybody's pissed that they ran basically zone again on 3rd and long. It's on the 4-yard line. I don't know what you expect. We already tried to run 2 quality plays, and they blew up in our face. So, let's not screw ourselves over by running something real shitty. So you get 2 yards, you get 6 yards, a little more space for Headley. He gets the punt off. We get the ball back at the 48-yard line because our defense stood up. Huge. Fucking my favorite player on the entire team right now, Cam Kitchens. He was already my favorite before he came in because I'm a safety. He's a true safety. Dude can tackle. I fucking love it. So Knighton runs for no gain. 1st and 10. Again, running some more of the same, wasting clock. And he gets sacked because we didn't block. But it wasn't really a sack. He immediately rolls out again. This is what he's not going to get the pass on a designed rollout, like rollout. You got to run as fast as you can to the right side. But Ailey stayed in bounds, takes the sack for 6 yards. And so we're assuming that we're going to have to punt. But we don't, because Will Mallory is wide the fuck open. Why is he wide the fuck open? Because Mallory has been used very sparingly, but in key spots, they have been getting him in space throughout the game. Been doing it for the touchdowns. They did it in the first drive. This is what happens when you develop your pieces, guys. 21 yards to the first down. Ices the game. Ices the fucking game to allow us to run the rest of the clock out. So I didn't even change the title of this because I was so in such a rush. But you can read up on how knight and pawn endgames work. The idea here, though, is that all you need to do is create enough space for the knight to do his job. King moves out of the way. Knight can go 1, 2, and then it's not basically. It will be checkmate. In this particular position, if you move the pawn up one and basically force the knight for black to block the pawn, you're good. You're good to go. There is no way for black to get out of this because you have maneuvered the knight into the best position to come through big when you need him, which is what happened. So here's what I'll say, guys, since I know we're running out of time. I think it's already kickoff. Yep. We'll see what happens against Pitt, but the play calling was tremendously better with the dynamic pieces that we have in place. And if Lashlee continues to realize what he's got on offense, he starts running those out routes to Harley instead of running stops. He starts running more stuff to Knighton in space. He starts running Cody Brown through the middle because that's where he thrives. We are going to give Pittsburgh a game. But if we don't, we have to play a perfect game to beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. I don't know if it'll happen, but if we can continue to have this quality of play calling, this improvement from North Carolina to North Carolina State, we might actually go 600. We'll see. As always, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell on Twitter so you can know when I'm going live. And go Canes. Let's see if we can beat Pitt today.